A while ago I threw a video on how to throw a big platter, and then I did dinner sets. And people who are throwing plates and platters quite often have problems with their edges pulling up and warping. This one is really pulled up. And what causes that is there's a whole lot less clay here than the rest of your pot, and when you leave it out uncovered and let it dry too quickly, this outer edge will dry and shrink. And of course it's smaller, so it has to warp and pull. But we can fix that. And I'm going to show you how. I've got this wet bat here. I'm just going to turn it upside down on here. And then we can work on the bat. Now at this point it doesn't really matter if it warps up. Where is that? If it warps level or not, because you're going to level the pot. You level this part and not worry about how level your board is. You see those marks there? That means that this is quite a bit higher. You can try to lower that side, but quite often when it warps up, you have to, I lowered it too much. And I just put a little piece of clay under there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with this by putting little bits of clay, only worrying about how level this is. And adding bits of clay, and you'll probably will come back when it's level, because this is warped unevenly, will take a while. Okay, now we're level. The bottom's level. We're not worrying about the bat. It's all over the place. And this is centered. You see it touches all the way around here and all the way around there. So I'm going to trim that so the bottom's going to be level. Now there really is a bother centering this when it's this warped. And to tell you the truth, I threw these and I let them sit out and I let them dry too quickly, and I watched the edges warp, and it just but I let them warp just to make the video. So I'm just going to tidy that. I'm not going to give this a lot of foot. And this really did warp, so I'm just going to leave that bottom the way it is, sponge it off, and then turn it over. Okay, now I've got this I've mentioned it before when I made the dinner sets and other things. I've got the plate on a piece of paper on a board, but before I turn this over and put it back on the wheel head, these balls of clay are uneven because the walls are so warped. They had to be uneven to make the bottom flat, if that makes any sense. So when you turn this turn it back on the wheel, you want to make sure it's going to sit flat down on the wheel and not be raised by any of these bumps. So I'm just going to turn that over, and that should be level. Let me go. Okay, so now we have this on the wheel. There's always that little bit of water under there, and this is really pulled up. I'm just going to make sure that the bottom is level. Whoa, this really worked. It's really important when you're making your plates not to leave them sitting out in the air for a long time to warp. So I'm going to level the bottom of this, because it's important this bottom be level. That's pretty level. And then I'm going to center this, and I'm going to center it the same way as leveling. I'm going to use that inside circle, and you can see it's much further away here than it is there, so I'm just going to push it that way. That's fairly centered. A little bit more right here. Anyway, we'll get it there. Okay, now we're centered, and you can see this edge is really wonky and has really pulled up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it flat down. I'm going to get it wet, and I'm just going to push it down. Give it a bit of a throw. Now I am trimming fairly soft, and I want it down more, so I'm going to push it down more. I'm just going to lay that guy down there. Now I've got up and down. As I said, it's much easier not to let them warp. So I'm just going to let my fingertip touch the side that's higher. That side I'm going to lay down. Give it a bit of throw. Let my fingertip touch the side that's higher. And that's fairly even all the way around. And if you take your ruler and get it wet, you can, with the edge of your ruler, give that some definition. And if you didn't know any better, and if no one spins it after they take it home, it looks like a plate that wasn't all warped and wonky. Now it's important now to let this plate dry slowly. It could climb right up there again. So you want to put it under plastic, let it dry for a few days. I mean, everyone's climate is different. The slower the better on these plates. And then as soon as you can get it off this board, get it onto a drying rack. I have a baker's rack that's wrapped in plastic, so I have a drying cupboard. The trick to warped plates is slow and controlled drying. But considering where that started from, it didn't end too badly.